Hey, sports fans, this is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes. I wanted to come on because guess what, y'all? We getting some college football on Saturday. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see this Georgia Tech and Florida State matchup. Hopefully, I can get one of them Florida State fans on the show before that game Saturday and then get one of them on after the game on Saturday so that I can get their opinions and thoughts on what they think is going to happen previewing the game and post game. So hopefully I can get one of those Florida State fans on the show so that we can talk some ball. But I got on because I want to talk about the Texas Longhorns. So listen, we finished our second scrimmage on last Saturday. Now we're 2 weeks in and 2 weeks until the college season starts for my Texas Longhorns. So I'm anxious to see what we're going to do these next few weeks. Now, of course, Texas is looking for all the advantages that they can find. So, of course, the Texas Longhorns coaches have them practicing in the heat of the day because they know many of their games that are at home are going to be played in the heat of the day. So they're making sure that they're getting practice in that kind of weather so that the players can be used to that. Now, Colorado State, when you come into Texas in 2 weeks on the 31st, believe me, you're going to get to feel that heat that our players are already used to, that you're not used to practicing in Colorado because you know the weather that you got in Colorado is not conducive to what they got in Austin, Texas, baby. So you're going to come in that heat and get wore out and we're going to play 66 plus players on you. So get ready for that. So the next 2 weeks of practice, Texas will be putting in all of their install for the first 6 weeks probably. They're going to make sure that they address the Michigan game. They're going to make sure that they address the Oklahoma and Georgia game. And then when we get to those games, they'll have their whole week to work on what they install these next 2 weeks, which is good coaching. So I'm quite sure that Michigan is doing the same thing. I'm quite sure that Georgia is doing the same thing over the next 2 weeks. They're getting ready for the major opponents that they know they're going to face. So they want to put some of the install in now so that when they get to play those teams, they can put the rest of it in and go over what they already installed these next 2 weeks coming up. That's just smart coaching, y'all. It's just smart coaching. So anyway, Texas has got some promising things that they're working on in these next 2 weeks. Of course, we're going to find out what the depth chart is like over these next 2 weeks. And Texas has got a lot of players that they know will be on that depth chart ones, twos, and threes. So we know that players like Cam Williams, who's going to be a first year starter at right tackle, he's looking to have a great season to the point where many people believe that if Cam Williams has a good season, that he may enter the NFL draft after only starting one season. Much like that player did for Georgia last year, who only played 8 games and was a first round draft pick. What that means for Texas is that Calvin Banks, who plays left tackle, who has started for 2 years, this will be his third year starting. Texas will possibly lose both of their tackles to the draft at the end of this season. But the good thing is they got guys who are waiting in the wings, waiting to get their opportunity to play that left tackle and that right tackle position. And when that depth chart comes out, you'll get to see who those players are. Because right now they're trying to iron out who those players are going to be. Our biggest concern is at the two guard positions because we know that most teams are going to scheme to try to get penetration in those two areas, the left guard and the right guard positions. So we're hoping that the guys who are playing there now, who are starters, who started last year, who got a lot of playing time the year before, are going to be able to handle that workload and be able to handle those schemes that those teams are going to throw at them. DJ Campbell and Hayden Connor. So hopefully they'll be able to handle that, um, so that we can be out there executing the way we want to. Also, we hope that Jake Majors will be back and ready to roll at the center position. We're doing precautionary things with him right now because he has a bad ankle. So we want to make sure that we give him plenty of rest. And if we play today, Jake Majors would be playing today because he's not that banged up that he couldn't play. But we want to make sure he's 100% by the time Colorado State rolls in. They're also looking at who are the two or three wide receivers that complement each other the best to make it into that starting rotation. So, as you heard on previous videos, we have 6 or 7 guys who are vying for positioning in that circle of trust at the wide receiver position. I'm throwing my man Ryan Niblett into the mix because he's that 7th guy that Steve Sarkisian talked about who is making great strides and is possibly going to get some time outside of playing on special teams. He has a chance to get in that circle of trust at the wide receiver position. And listen, Texas has tons of speed at the wide receiver position, but now that you add Ryan Niblett, he's also a speedster. That's even more speed. So no matter who's out there on the field, opposing defenses are going to have to deal with the speed that Texas has on the outside. And then when they throw in Amari Niblack, that's even more speed at the tight end position. And then with that speed at the running back position with Jalen Blue and Trey Wisner, listen, defenses, y'all going to have to account for this speed. And you're going to get to see it in the first 4, 5, 6 games of the season, how viable Texas is as an offensive unit. Because these guys are going to be clicking on all cylinders. The quarterback room is fantastic. If you watched the episode I did with my cousin Howie T yesterday, he talked about the Ohio State's quarterback room and how he believes it's in good shape. Listen, it is in good shape. But when you look at this Texas quarterback room with Quinn Ewers, Art Manning, and Trey Owens, man, listen, that quarterback room is legit. And I'm telling you now, Texas doesn't have any worries about the quarterback position. And they won't have any worries about the quarterback position over the next decade because they got guys coming in the 25 class and a young man is coming in the 26 class that are dynamic. So we're going to be good for 10 years plus at the Longhorns on the 40 acres. So listen, also, our defensive line, the defensive tackle position, Steve Sarkisian talked about 10 guys at that position that are ready to get playing time and get snaps on those 2 defensive line positions. That is major because you all know that teams want to win games by running the football. But when you got 2 huge run stuffers in the center of that line over those guards and playing over that center, you got a chance to dominate games when it comes to opposing opponents not being able to run the football on you. Much like Texas did last year. Teams could not run the ball on Texas last year because of Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, Alfred Collins, Vernon Broughton, and the rest of the boys. But we still got that same caliber on the defensive line that we got through the portal and from guys we already had on campus. So Texas is going to be a major defensive unit this year in college football, much like they were last year. The biggest difference this year is the edge position has 3 to 6 guys deep at those two end positions because we got guys that have come in, have worked hard, and are ready to put pressure on the quarterback and get sacks. And that's going to help our defensive backs who are covering those guys for the amount of time that they're going to have to cover them. But if they got good coverage, we're going to get sacks. So we're looking forward to them doing that. So I'm looking forward to this Saturday's mock game where Texas is going to go through their game, their scrimmage, like it's an actual game. They're going to actually go and stay in the hotel like they normally would, ride the bus over to the stadium like they normally would, and do everything like it's game prep. And they're going to work on the game plan for Colorado State. They're going to work on the game plan for Michigan exclusively to make sure that the guys are ready to perform at their highest level against their first two opponents. And then they're also going to plug in some Georgia stuff as well. That's just good coaching. So everybody out there that loves their team, and their team was one of those Power Four conference teams, you know that your coaches are doing the same thing. You think Michigan ain't game planning for Texas, who they play in week 2? You know they are. Sharon Moore is not. He's a brilliant guy. He's putting the install in the next 2 weeks for Texas because he know we coming to town. And he know he wants to be ready to have the best unit out there possible with a game plan that's solid to beat the Longhorns when they come to town. So that's what Steve Sarkisian and his coaches are going to be doing as well. So I'm very excited for this Saturday. I know that my Longhorns are going to do what they need to do so we can get ready. Hopefully, this Georgia Tech and Florida State game gets things kicked off so that we can be excited about this year's college football, which is going to be unbelievable because teams are going to be playing their hearts out to make it to that 12-team college football playoff. So I thank you all for tuning in. I want to thank my sponsor who sponsored this video, St. Stephen's Community House, 1500 East 17th Avenue. They have plenty of resources at St. Stephen's. But as you all know, St. Stephen's was built in the 80s. So right now they're on a capital campaign to raise dollars to improve St. Stephen's Community House. So those of you who are listening right now who participated in programming at St. Stephen's Community House, please give them a donation. As little as $5 helps. So any amount of money that you can give, please give to St. Stephen's Capital Campaign. You can reach St. Stephen's at 614-294-6347. And once the voicemail starts talking, just hit the 0 and then you'll get the receptionist and she can guide you on how you can make your donation to St. Stephen's Capital Campaign. It's a major thing that St. Stephen's is trying to do. They've already raised enough money to get the air conditioning units fixed, to get high-profile cameras all around the building and all throughout the building. And now they're raising money to do upgrades in their offices and the rest of the parts of their building. So if you can give any donation to St. Stephen's Community House, please call them at 614-294-6347, or you can also contact them through Facebook, and it's under St. Stephen's Community House. Hopefully you will give. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe. Please remember to share the videos and ask your friends and family to subscribe. We're up to 162 subscribers, on our way to 200. Hopefully, we can reach that before the end of the week. I'm very excited about the videos we did yesterday with my nephews, my son, and my cousin Howie T. So hopefully you continue to support us and come on and check out our videos as we make them. So without any further delay, as you always know when I talk about my Longhorns, hook 'em!